We're going to start in narrow stance. And this is a great way to get connected to our center of gravity. So invitation here is to close your eyes and imagine you're sort of reaching down with your lower body into the earth and reaching up with your upper body into the sky above. So we want to feel nice and solid through the feet. Sometimes it's nice to waver back and forth a little bit and then find your balance right between left and right feet. And same with front and back, going to the front, going to the back, and then noticing when you can get your weight equalized between left and right and between front and back of each foot. And then we're going to move up to the knees. We want those knees to be softly bent. So definitely not locked, but not so deep that you're feeling like you're entering a little bit of a squat. So a nice soft bend in the knees. And we'll move our attention up to our pelvis, experimenting with what it feels like to tuck the tailbone between the legs, and then to kind of stick the butt out and rotate the pelvis forward. And then trying to find a place between those two extremes. So if our pelvis was a bowl, we're not spilling water out of the front of the bowl or the back of the bowl. And then you want to feel that nice straight spinal alignment all the way up to the top of the rib cage. We want to feel our arms sitting right on top of the rib cage. So shoulders are not rolled forward, but we're also not pulling our shoulders way back. Nice neutral position, a little bit of spaciousness in the armpits, and it's a sense of aliveness going down through the elbows, wrists, and fingers. So once again, the hands aren't like flaccid noodles, but they're also not like super strong. There's just something kind of in between, a little bit of energy in the fingertips. And then finally, just gently tucking the chin and reaching the top of the head as high as you can without overly stretching or straining the body. So we've got our attention in our bodies. Let's open our breath a little bit. So relaxing any of the muscles of the pelvic floor and lower abdomen and allowing your breath to really flow in to the base of the core of your body. You want to feel the belly button reaching away from the spine as you inhale, and then just gently coming in towards the spine, maybe a tiny little bit of muscular engagement as you exhale. After feeling the bottom of the belly, the breath is going to come up, fill the chest, and come kind of all the way up to the top of the throat. So you're feeling like your whole core, from pelvis all the way up to the top of the chest, is moving with each inhale and exhale. So now that we are in our stance and we're in our breath, we can come and focus on that center of gravity, imagining like a line or like a laser coming from the sky above, piercing through the top of our heads, coming all the way down through the center of our body in front of the spinal cord, exiting the body in the bottom of the pelvis, and piercing the earth right between the ankle bones, between the feet. Good. Once you've visualized this line in your head, we want to sort of wrap ourselves around it, kind of like the way a vine wraps itself around a tree trunk. And you can imagine just feeling that center of gravity and kind of bringing your body into alignment with it, engaging the core, reaching upwards and downwards along this line, and really centering with gravity. All right, so we're going to widen our stance, come into our kind of neutral stance that we do most of the form in, and that's just slightly wider than shoulder width apart, feet facing forward. You might want to just quickly go again through your stance to make sure your left and right is balanced, your front and back is balanced. And you can still feel that center of gravity coming right down the center of the body, entering the ground between the ankle bones, between the feet. All right. Inhaling, we'll reach our arms up, overhead, arms coming together, exhaling to the forehead. Inhaling to the heart. And exhaling to the lower dantian, hands flip around like you're holding a heavy baby. Inhaling, arms come up and open like you're hugging a giant tree. Exhale, palms come down. And opening up the soles of the feet, inflating from below like a parachute. Moving with the breath, inhaling up. Exhaling to the head, our upper dantian. Inhaling to the middle dantian at the heart. And exhaling into the belly or the lower dantian. Inhaling out and up. Exhaling down to earth. Inhaling, inflating from below. Let's do one more in silence together. Come enjoy expanding Qi exercises. So we grab our beach ball from underneath. We allow that to kind of float the arms up, opening, expanding at the top, and then arms simply just drop back, palms rotating down as they come. So as we grab that ball, we want to settle back in our stance a little bit. So we sit back, bring our weight over our heels until we can come up to straight again here, opening, looking up, and then palms flip at the shoulders and come back down. So we fill the lungs coming up, inhaling whole body movement, and exhaling, softening, and relaxing back down into the earth. So the emphasis is on the expanding part of the motion, inhaling, reaching, opening, growing a little bit taller at the top, but not so tall that we're straightening those legs, right? The knees are always kind of staying nice and loose. Inhaling, up, opening, expanding. Exhaling, gently sinking back to neutral. And you're always free to flow with the rhythm of your own breath, right? I might be breathing a little bit faster than you because I'm talking and guiding class. So if you want to be deepening your breath and going a little bit slower and more methodical, that's totally fine. Let's come back down to neutral, and we'll just rest here for a moment, and we'll remember our willow in the wind analogy. So remembering like what it feels like to maybe be a tree getting blown around by some of these gusty Lethbridge Chinooks. The other analogy is like you're a kelp in a river bottom or an ocean bottom, and you're sort of at the mercy of the waves and the wake. So what that means is we're stable through the feet, from the knees down, feeling still rooted and connected to the earth. But above the knees, through the hips and spine, shoulders, arms, we're sort of moving spontaneously, creatively, and artistically, right? Like the kelp, the willow, they don't know how they're going to be moved by the next gust or the next wind, but they manage to react spontaneously and playfully in a way that keeps them from breaking or snapping in even the harshest of conditions. So with that in mind, with this windy willow kind of spontaneous playfulness analogy, we're going to go through a few more of those expanding Qi exercises. See if you can move in a way that even your mind can't predict how your body will move next. And by accessing these realms of spontaneity and play, we can open up the fascia, open up the joints, and kind of get into some like hidden cobweb-filled corners of the body and access some pretty interesting stretches that we might not otherwise be able to if we were concentrating on our form. So there is a method to the madness. Let's come back down to neutral. And just take a moment to reestablish your stillness and stance. After doing that kind of fun play, it's always good to take a moment to stabilize once again. And then we're going to reverse it, so we'll come into our settling Qi action. So we come, flip the palms up at the shoulders, reaching up for the beach ball overhead, settling down out in front. So arms come up, palms flip up, reach up. And then the first thing that settles is actually the ankles, knees, hips, before the shoulder blades, elbows, wrists. So it goes kind of the opposite of the way most people think about moving downwards. Grab something from above, and then from the earth, we pull it down. Shoulder blades melt down the spine, elbows and wrists follow. So the emphasis this time is on the settling, the grounding, stabilizing, bringing the yang energy down through the body into the earth. Inhaling up. Exhaling down in front. If you're tuning into the Qi flow, you might notice a wave of energy following your hands down the body from head to toe. Exhaling. one more. And then before the next few, we'll kind of get into our windy willow or oceany kelp. And then we'll do a few more from that place of improvised, spontaneous play. After you've done your next one, we'll come back to neutral and just take a moment to decompress the body here. If you want to take a foot off, wiggle it around, shake out the hands, shake out the arms. If you feel in those shoulders, and decompress. Little hip circles. And anytime during the practice we're about to enter, during the 8 brocades, you can always take a pause to move your body as you need to decompress, use a chair, whatever feels good. Okay, let's come into our 8 brocades proper here. So we begin by coming up and over, down to heart center. This is our neutral position for the next 4 exercises. And we begin number 1 by scooping any excess thoughts, any excess brain energy that we don't need, and kind of pushing it outwards like we're opening elevator doors. Let's bring the palms over top of the elbows and pushing up. Make sure you don't lock those elbows. Once we've reached as far as we can without flipping the palms, we'll reach up with the fingertips. Balance the fingertips on top of the elbows like we're spinning a basketball on top of our fingertips. Down until we're about at ear level, and then just pushing any excess thoughts out of the way. So the breath pattern will be inhaling. Exhale, push with some strength. Inhale, relax and reach. Exhale, fall back down and push away. Inhale. Exhale. Sink into your stance. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink down and push away. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling, getting ready. Exhaling, push. Inhaling, stretch. Exhaling, sink down, and push away. It's normal to be feeling a little bit of burning in the shoulders. If it gets to be too much, take a break. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Push. Stretch. Lower. And this time we'll push all the way out, flip the palms up, reach up and overhead and unzip the zipper right down the center of the body. Down the center of the nose, lips, sternum, as far down as you can comfortably reach. So opening up first layer of the onion. All right. Take a moment. You got the shoulder burn. Tap it out a little bit. Shake the hands. Number 1 and number 2 are like the most physically intensive, but number 1 is definitely the most muscle burning. Okay, let's get into our start-finish position again here. Good. Palms are facing the heart. And if you ever want to just stand here for like half an hour, that's an authentic Qi Gong practice. This is a great posture for building strength and energy. So we're going to start circling our hands in a counterclockwise direction in front of our torso. So do as I say, not as I do. Mirroring me won't work very well. You want to be looking at a clock going counterclockwise and noticing how I'm also turning my belly button and sternum and nose. Everything is kind of in a line and I'm turning my whole torso from side to side. So the arms aren't just doing the circle, the hips are helping. And for those of you who want to go a little deeper into your stance, for number 2, that's also a great option. You can go a little bit deeper. So we're just warming up our turning faculties, warming up our basins, as we call them in Qigong. And just turning the waist side to side, working the ball. And then eventually we're going to grab from one side, bring our bow and arrow up over our head, reaching to the left. Index and thumb finger of the front hand come out. We grab the bowstring with our back fist and pull the bowstring back, following the bowstring with our nose until we're facing back to center. So we're not looking in the direction we're shooting. And then release it. Nice. Arms open up wide. We come up and over back to our start position. Let's circle in a clockwise direction. So the clockwise circle, you can feel, has a little bit of some rightward momentum. It feels like we could pick up a rock and huck it over to the right. And that's how we know what direction we're going next. Usually the first time we do this second brocade, we do just do a lot of circles because it is a great way to warm up the waist and warm up the core. And as we get into subsequent movements, we'll just do one or half of a circle. So with that in mind, we grab our gear, bring it overhead, reaching to the right, index and thumb extended, palm away. Pull back on the bowstring with some tension through the whole body. Bring the elbow as far away from the palm as you can. Face the nose back towards center. So I'm aiming to the right, but I'm looking in front. I got some tension between my elbow and my palm. And then I open up this palm, let the bowstring go. That tension disappears, arms open, thumb up, and over. So we're going to do counterclockwise circles, getting ready to go over to the left, reaching left, engage bow and bowstring, pull back, follow the bowstring with your nose until your nose becomes over top of your sternum, pull the elbow away from the palm, and release. Open, over, and down. Just going to turn 90 degrees for this next one, so I'm going to go clockwise, and over to the right, reaching, index and thumb, pulling back on the bowstring, opening. Make sure that your elbow doesn't go too far back, right? Make sure that elbow is opposing the palm. We're not pulling the shoulder blades open too much here, but there is some tension there. We hold this just for a moment, and then we release, open the arms, over, and down. And I'll go the other direction. Actually, no, I want to stay that same side so you can see the other way. So we're going to go to the left. Reaching, holding, opening, hold that tension, release, hands open up wide, reaching up, and back to center. Nice job, everybody. Okay. Clockwise to the right. Reach. Hold with tension. Open as wide as you can. Release tension. Over and down. To the left. Release. Up. And back to center. And to the right through a clockwise circle. Reaching, inhaling, pulling the bowstring open. Exhaling, release. Hands widen, reaching up and over. Inhale as you open the bow. Hold the breath as you hold the tension, and then release everything with the exhale. Inhaling up, and exhaling back to center. Nice job, everybody. So to finish it off, we bring the arms wide, up, and we're going to unzip the zipper, but this time inside of the eyes, outside of the nose, outside of the lips, just off center, right down the bottom. Take a moment if you need to. Number 3, we do just from our neutral stance, or if you're in a wide stance, we want to come back. Good. Okay, so number 3, we like to have me face away so we can get our left and right. So maybe I'll do a couple facing away from everyone first. So we're going to start by coming into our neutral position, so the arms come up and down at the heart. And we're going to start by bringing our left fingertips down and our right fingertips up. And we're going to twist to the left. We're going to kind of reach the left over that way. And then the right comes over the forehead. The left hand stays behind the body until we got our little fun barrel of monkey posture. And then we're going to push palms in opposite direction as we untwist back to center. Palms opposing, and then eventually reaching through fingertips. So now my right fingertips are going down, and my left fingertips are going up. So I'm going to turn to the right as my right arm goes down. And as my left arm begins going up, I turn to the left. I got palms opposing, and I twisted to the left. I'm going to untwist through resistance as I push my palms in opposite direction through resistance. Eventually stretching out through the fingertips and relaxing. Left fingertips go down, right fingertips go up, turning to the left. Right crosses over, turning to the right. Palms opposing, untwist through resistance as our palms push through resistance in opposite direction. Reaching up with the fingertips and relaxing. Okay, now I'm going to mirror you, so it's going to get harder. So we're going to do it for the sake of the video. So the fingertips on the top face down, bottom face up. We twist to the hand that's going down, and then we twist to the hand that's going up, and then we resist the twist back to neutral. Fingertips opposing. All right. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling, push. Inhaling, stretch. Good. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling as we push. Inhaling, stretch. Nice. One more on each side. So top fingertips dive as bottom fingertips go up. Turning. And we're imagining we're kind of stretching the spine as we untwist and push palms in opposite direction. Reaching through fingertips and relaxing. Last one. And then to finish off number 3, we bring arms opposite up and unzip the zipper, this time outside of the eyes and the jaw, outside of the throat and the chest. Nice job, everybody. Number 4 can be done with a neutral stance or with a wide stance, depending on how deep into the lower body you want to be. Come up and over, down to heart center. And just like last time, we're going to go to the left with counterclockwise circles. So we'll just get our circling going. The big difference this time is as we turn to the left, the palms both face out. We turn 90 degrees to the left, and we want to look slightly uphill through that triangle between our thumbs and index fingers. Nice. So then we're going to bring the hands towards the face a little bit, and then push the imaginary boulder up the hill away from us. Equal pressure with both hands. Relax the strain, and then come back to neutral. So we're going to engage clockwise circles so we can go to the right. Palms face away, turn 90 degrees, slightly uphill. Palms come towards the eyes, and then engage some strength and push the palms away from the body, slightly uphill as the body moves away from the boulder. Relax muscular tension, and back to neutral. And then we're going to just go right into the left. Right into the left. That's not very clear, is it? Inhaling, palms come towards the face, let the boulder roll down the hill towards you, and then push the boulder up the hill away from the body. Relaxing strain, back to neutral. To the right. Slightly uphill. Boulder comes towards you. Equal pressure through both palms. Push the boulder away up the hill. So until both scapula equally pushing. Relaxing the pressure and returning to neutral. Nice job, everybody. To the left. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling, preparing to push. Exhaling, pushing. Inhaling, relaxing, and returning to neutral. Inhaling up and over. Exhaling, relaxing. Inhaling, preparing. Exhaling, pushing. Inhaling, relaxing. Exhale to neutral. Inhale to the left. Exhale, position. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, push. Inhale, relaxing. Exhale to neutral. Inhale to the right. Exhale, soften. Inhale, prepare. And exhale, push. Inhale, relax. And exhale, back to center. All right, opening up. And then right down the sides of the body, fourth zipper. Over the ears and down the sides of the legs. Nice job, everybody. Relax any strain. Take a moment, decompress. Hey, everyone's doing really good so far. Very minimal chair use too today. People are feeling strong. Nice job. Okay, so number 5 and number 6, we begin with the arms out to the sides. And we're going to start with the mirror for number 5, because that's going to work better, not confuse everybody. So we're going to first dip the left arm down and reach its side bend. And then come forward a little bit with that top shoulder. And then looking up at our top hand and following our top hand as it draws a big circle around the body. You want to keep it in your eyes the whole time. And eventually the head rolls to the right. Then we push to the left, head rolls the other way. Back to neutral, both palms up. Right arm goes down, left ribcage, side bend. Slightly forward, look up at that top hand and watch the top hand with your eyes as it goes around the back and up to the other side. Your head's going to roll to the left at the end, and then flip the palms to the right, and flip the palm back to neutral. So there's a little emphasis at the end there, the palms flip. Let's go down to the left now. Are we on the left side? Did we do 2? Or are we on the right now? Or we just did 2, one on each side, right? Yes. Okay, ready? Down on the left, opening up the right ribcage, leaning slightly forward, looking up at that top hand, circling around the body, and then palm up, palm down, flip, palm up, palm down, back to neutral. Take one more side on the right, opening up the left ribcage, forward, and flip, open, fall. It's a really nice one for the spine and for the neck at the end here. Good job, everybody. Got a couple more on each side. So this time we'll be attempting to mirror me, but just try to do your left fingers down and right rib cage open. Inhaling, exhaling slightly forward. Big inhale all the way around. Exhale. Inhale. Relaxing. Okay, right arm down. Inhaling. Exhaling. Big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and relax. Reach up and down the back, but not the spine. So somewhere between the ribs and the spine, either side of the back, down the back. Nice. Good job. Okay, onward to number 6. Same way, neutral stance, maybe slightly wider. Bring our hands up like this, and we're gonna exhale, pinkies kind of come together, but not too extreme. And we inhale, open up the chest, palms face up, flip the palms, and we're back in position number 1. Push, and then reach. And then we're gonna paint the wall in front of us. The fingertips stay up, and we're gonna bend at the waist and the knees until the elbows get almost to the level of the knees. If you have the flexibility, you can bring the hands all the way onto the floor, or you can just come to hands on the knees here. Keep the spine engaged, whatever you're doing. And then the hands are gonna come around the ground or the floor, and then up the back of the legs until they're on the kidneys. Then reaching up, palm up like TV antennas, and then we're going to engage the glutes and come up with a straight spine as we flip the palms up. So we exhale, inhale, exhale, push, inhale, stretch. Exhale, painting the wall, coming as low as we can. Inhale, up the back of the legs to the kidneys. Exhale, TV antenna. And then inhale, back to neutral. Looking good. Exhale. Inhale, 2 big circles. Exhale, pushing up. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, down. Use the knees and the hips quite a lot. Low as you can. Inhale, up to the backs of the legs. Exhale, extend hands. Inhale, flip back up. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of a flourish at the top here. So same thing as we exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, push. Now inhale, reach, and then hold your breath and bring your rib cage away from your hips. And then exhale, drop. Inhale, coming down. Exhale, coming down. Inhale at the back of the legs. Exhale, extend the arms. Inhale, back up to neutral. So that last little bit here, we're holding the breath and we're bringing the ribs up a little bit. And then on the way down, because we've just held our breath, we have to stop for another breath. So we take 2 breaths as we come down. So let's do that all together. Exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, push. Inhale, reach. Hold the breath, lift the ribs. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, up the back of the legs. Exhale, arms extend. Inhale, back to neutral. Arms come in front. Open up the chest and throat. Push the weight away. Inhale, reach. Hold. Lift. Relax. Slide down to the earth. Up the back. Arms come out. And flip. Let's do one more. And to finish off number 6, we reach up and we're going to unzip the zipper all the way down the spine. Right on. So next to easy. Number 7, we come into loose fists. And we're remembering that throughout this whole exercise, we're really deeply resisting the urge to do like a karate style punch. So by the time this exercise is over, you should look like this, right? So it's like you're imagining there's a pipe coming out of your rib cage, and you're twisting your fist through that pipe as you twist your hips forward. So this would be an awful way to punch someone, because we're not doing a punch, even though it looks like a punch. That's the disclaimer. So we start, we're going to bring our left hip back, and we're going to drive and twist the fist forward as we resist that spiraling, so there should be some tension there. Then we relax the fist, open the hand, flip the palm, and then pinky, ring, middle, index, thumb. Grab the horse's rein and pull back in. And then we untwist the hip. Good. Then we preload the opposite side, inhaling. Exhaling, spiraling with tension. Inhaling, relaxing, flipping, grabbing, exhaling. Inhaling, twist to the left. Exhaling, untwist and spiral through tension. Inhaling, opening, flipping, reverse fist, exhaling, pull back in through tension. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, and this you want maybe about 20% of your total tension abilities. And then 0% tension, relax. And then about 10%. Inhaling, opposite side, getting ready. Exhaling, twist through resistance. 0 resistance, flip and grab with a flourish. Exhale, pull back in with a bit of tension. Nice, good. So if you're doing this right, and you're exhaling and pushing through some imaginary resistance, and you're keeping your joints nice and bent, you should feel a little bit of like a fascial stretch spiral going up somewhere between your wrist and your neck, depending on who you are and what your body's doing. But it should definitely feel like some sort of therapeutic, spiraling, magical fascial unwinder. Do one more on each side. Inhaling, preparing. Exhaling, slow motion, spiraling, non-punch. Inhaling, relax, flip, come together, and exhale, retract. Other side. And then to finish, we flip our palms down and push. Good. And then brocade number 8 is our cleansing the energy from the kidneys, or the lower dantian. So we start by reaching around. We're going to build some tension between the back of the hands and the kidneys. Come up on our tiptoes and flick as we land. And then we just kind of hold the hands in the air for just a microsecond and then relax. And when you're flicking, you want to feel like you have water on your fingers, so your hands are loose and you're just spraying that water off the hands. So you inhale, exhale through the mouth. Inhale, hold, inhale, and we usually do about 4 or 5 of these, kind of like peak intensity. So we'll do one more kind of intense one, really falling on our heels and really shooting those arms out. And then the next few we'll start to curb the intensity down and get it a little bit more refined. And then this last one, we won't even come up off our heels. It'll be like coming on the tiptoes in your imagination. Then we come back into our start position. We'll hold this for 75 minutes. If we were in a Taoist ashram, that is. But we'll just, let's spend 60 seconds here just to get in the feeling of what it feels like to hold a position for a little bit. Opening up the center of the palms in our imagination, opening up the gate of the heart in our imagination, sinking a centimeter lower into our stance, and maybe growing a centimeter higher towards the sky. Inhale and grow our little orb. We're going to exhale and bring our hands all the way under the surface of the belly. Let's begin rubbing that chi energy into the abdominal region, swallowing any saliva, and just really imagining like you're taking that energy and bringing it in. We'll come around kidneys, using the back of the hand, up and down, sacrum, kidneys. And we're going to go down the backs of the legs, up the inside of the legs, over the abdomen, back to the kidneys, down the back of the legs, up the inside of the legs. And again. We'll bring one arm onto opposite arm, up and down. So I'm going to go kind of down the, doesn't matter, just up and down the arms. And then switching arms. And then just gently onto the face, just kind of washing the face. And we'll do that same thing a little bit more vigorously, this time with tapping. So we're going to make some loose fists. And cut on and off the kidneys, doing some gentle percussion on the lower back. And then patting our way down the backs of the legs, up the inside of the legs, over the abdomen. We'll bring a loose fist onto opposite shoulder, getting that nice little upper trap, classic gallbladder point here. And then up and down the arm. And switching opposite shoulder. And up and down the arm. We're going to bring some raindrops onto the skull, some tips of the fingers on the hard part of the skull, so above the eyebrow, the top of the head, all the way to the back. Not too hard, but not too soft. And then tiny little fingertip raindrops to the sensitive parts of the face, over top of the eyes, nose, jaw, lips, ears. Good. So we kind of moved our chi, circulated our chi. We want to make sure that there's not any like excess or or stuck chi, so we're gonna kind of just brush anything we don't need off the body. Off the arms, down the center of the chest, down one leg, other leg, and then the last move of the brocades, we did clear the lower dantian or the kidneys, so we're good there, but we're going to come up and work the heart a little bit. So we'll bring our hands, we're going to imagine like we're holding a golden net in our hands and we can circle it around our heart. Just get rid of any particles that we don't need. Gathering from within and just getting rid of any excess, stagnation, no longer needed. And we'll come to our upper dantian and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to come around the back of the ears and imagining we're scooping and bringing it out the mouth. And then we're gonna just improvise, like spontaneous, just follow what feels good. Just keep your hands just off the surface of your body and we're just kind of smoothing our energy fields back together, tracing around the body. Like we're, you know, when you got like messy hair and you're trying to like straighten it nice, it's kind of like we're doing that to the whole body. We're taking it and just smoothing it out, making it nice. All right, back to neutral. Let's come into a lower dantian standing meditation position here. Closing the eyes, bringing the attention internal, finding that center of gravity. Relaxing the pelvic floor, letting the breath come deep into the belly. And let's work on really refining the flow of breath in and out of the body right now. So maybe we can imagine like there's a blade of grass in front of the nose, and we're trying to breathe in a way that doesn't disturb this blade of grass. Very gently, air coming in and out of the body, soft and subtle. Arms coming back down to neutral. Same thing, so even though the arms are at the side, we're going to just stay active, stay engaged, standing in a good way. And we're going to go through our closing prayer, but we're going to kind of stop along the way in each little micro movement and have a moment of stillness. So we'll start with palms facing up at shoulder height, looking slightly up. And just really allow that stillness to deepen and allow the chi to flow through the whole body as we enjoy these moments of quiet. And then we'll bring the hands together overhead. Down to upper dantian. Down to the heart. Into the lower. like a big group hug. It's a group hug for people with personal space issues. And then shoulders kind of stay where they are, but the palms flip downwards towards the earth. Going back into neutral. And then inflating from below. Now one just has to be in movement, can't really be standing. Let's do that with the breath a little bit more fluidly. Inhaling. Exhaling to the mind. Inhaling to the heart. And exhaling to the belly. Inhaling forward and up. Exhaling down towards the earth. Inhaling from below. We'll come into a narrow stance, and we'll do the next one from our narrow stance here. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling to the heart. Exhaling to the belly. Inhaling forward and up. Exhale down to neutral. Inflating. When you're neutral, we'll just stand for another couple moments here, getting familiar with our upright bamboo-like posture here. And it's coming to heart center, bowing up. All right, so that was the full practice. Look how far we've come. Good job, everybody. Yep.